Welcome, Minecrafters! In this video, we're going to look at a really simple way to collect up, store, charge, and use creepers. It's a little more reliable than the one that I did in the last video where I was using seagrass. And also, it just comes down to a one-button operation. Now, when we charge up the creepers with the Trident of Channeling, they stay right where we put them before. They don't bounce out or anything like that. And they can't hop out of here. This is just totally awesome. And look at this, just 2 shots with the Trident and they're all charged up and ready to go. Now this one happens to be hooked up to a zombie head and XP farm. But while this thunderstorm is going, I'm going to want to cruise out and charge up some creepers because I've got these things located at various places all around my world. Oh, let's get a zombie pigman here. And I don't think you need to watch me charge creepers. So I'm going to cut the video out and I'll be right back. Well, here we are, coming back from our trip around the world here, charging up creepers at various places. And we're back to this one that's located above our little zombie head farm. And we got our creepers all lined up over here. We're going to show you how it works. We basically get the uncharged creepers in here by simply letting them follow us over here. And they step into that little channel that they're in right now. And they're standing on top of trapdoors. So when I push this button, trapdoor opens up, but I've also got pistons that are knocking them into a water stream that flows over here, and underneath this block right here is a hole that they drop down into and go to where we want to use them. In this case, I want to use them to get heads from zombies. So now what we're going to do is go down to a little zombie farm that we have down here. It happens to be right next to the old skeleton automatic XP generator that we've got, but the zombie farm is over here. And you can see we've got a heck of a lot of heads, so I've used them to decorate this place out like a complete madman. I've had a lot of fun with that. So in that obsidian chamber right there are the charged creepers. There happens to be 2 of them in there. I dropped one down earlier. And then there's the one that we just dropped in here. He's right there. And then behind them are the zombies. Now this chamber is very similar to the one in the previous video. It was basically the 5x7 one that we talked about last time. But in this case, I've got the zombie standing on the half slab, and underneath it, I've got a hopper, and then a row of hoppers coming out of that, and then flowing into that overflow chest right there. I'll go down and show you that little sorting system that's underneath there in a minute. Let's just detonate one of these creepers right here. I'll show you how it works. Now, with the zombies, you're always going to get one of these little guys coming out because they're riding on the backs of some of the taller guys. So I put this little thing in here, and I just throw them into some lava down there. But you could just knock them off with a sword if you want. So here we go. We've got that one creeper head right there because we had 2 creepers in here, one that detonated and the other one that we collected up that head from. So there's the hopper right there, okay? I put a half slab on top of that. You can see some of the heads are being processed through there. So we probably got at least a couple of stacks of heads from that one. Okay, I'm just going to throw that creeper head in there so you can see where it goes. And then I'm going to go over here and collect up some half slabs and cobblestone because I have to set this thing back up for the next use. Just chuck it in here like that. So I'd leave a chest out here that's got the things that I need in it. So let's throw the half slab right on top of that. Notice that the hopper does not take any damage when the charged creeper goes off. And then, oh yeah, you know what? I got to show you. I put a water source block on top of a sign, and it's got to be more than 10 blocks up there. I was using ladders before in my last video, but you know, sometimes the creepers got hung up on it a little bit, and it took them a while to come down, so I decided to throw a water source block up there. But it's got to be more than 10 blocks above it so it doesn't detonate when the charged creeper goes off. That's outside the blast range.
Now, we don't get any XP when the charged creepers detonate, but you can turn it into a phenomenal XP generator by using the TNT. Because since we've got all this obsidian lined out around here, it's all protected out, and you can get a tremendous amount of XP really fast using TNT. So we're sorting out just the zombie heads and the rotten flesh. Everything else goes into this overflow chest here. And this chest is locked by a redstone torch that's underneath this block over here to my right that we use to make it so that nothing here will leave the chest. Okay. But then after we've taken out what we want, we just open it up and the chest dumps. And then here I'm throwing anything I want to smelt into a super smelter, and that makes it so that we can get gold and iron from this as well. So we're just going to lock the chest again. Notice that we've dumped everything that we didn't want in there, and now we're going to go down and look at the little sorting system. Now, of course, the main thing that we want to sort out here is the zombie head, so that's what I have first here. And in this specific case, we probably got about 2 stacks of zombie heads. I wasn't really hanging around the spawner that long before that thunderstorm came in. So you can see this is just a standard sorter. You know, you put 18 in that, you know, and over here we're going to do the rotten flesh, put 18 and then 1 the rest of them. Okay, so I got a couple of stacks of rotten flesh. I do use that to keep the dogs fed and everything. And then this is the super smelter over here. I've taken a lot of gold out of here because I use it to make splash potions of healing, and that's another way that you can use this thing to generate XP. So you can see the torch up there that locks that that little hopper, and those flames over there behind me, they were just around a little trash can. So that's how we just discard everything. We just shoot it down into the lava down there. So those are where the zombies are coming out of the little spawner and everything, and I've got the soul sand in there behind me, and they're just shooting up. I'm not going to spend much more time on that. You guys are more interested in how we make that little charged creeper storage and collection system. I might come back to this in a little while, but for now, let's cruise out over into creative and take a look at how to make that creeper system. So here we are in a little creative demo world, and this thing is really modular, so you can make it as long as you want. I'm going to show you how to build the first module here, which you start off by making a trench that is basically 5 blocks deep and 9 blocks long. And then you're going to clear out an area to the side of it over here where I'm standing right now to put the redstone in. And this will be 2 blocks deep and 4 blocks wide. So you want to make it so that the water is always 3 blocks below where the trapdoors are, because when the creepers jump up and down, they get their head stuck in the trapdoors and it slows them down a little. So we're going to put a block down right there where we're going to put our trapdoor on, right in the top of the block. Okay. So that's how we're going to set up all of our trapdoors. You can see that's where the creeper is going to drop down right over there. And then we're going to put pistons on top of this block. So when we shoot redstone into the block, the trapdoor will open and the piston will fire, which will ensure that the creeper gets knocked off. So here's where we're just going to line the pistons in right here. So we've got 8 pistons running along right here. You can see where this goes. Then I'm going to run over here. I'm going to put the water source block right here. If you wanted to make it longer, what you would do is you would just step it down every 8 blocks to make it so you can have multiple rows of these things. So like in my world, I have that one that you saw earlier. We have just 2 of these modules, so it's basically 16 blocks long. So we'll throw a block back in there, and now we're going to go around and take a look at how the redstone works. So what we're going to do here is we're going to alternate repeaters and redstone just to shoot the signal into where the pistons are and where the trapdoors are. And then we're going to bring it back far enough away so that when we want to come over and hit the buttons, we don't get blown up by the creepers. Okay, so the buttons are going to be right above the redstone that's behind the last little repeaters there. So you can see how that works. When you press the button on top of this, okay, the redstone will light. Okay, see that right underneath it right there. Okay, and that will push the piston over and also open the trap door, and we'll drop our creeper out. Now notice that this creeper here is still stuck in here. They cannot get out of here. I have not seen a creeper ever leave this thing. It's kind of amazing. They're just standing on the top of a trap door. I was thinking that they should be able to walk out, but they can't. That's what really makes this thing work so well. So like I said earlier in the video, it's just one button operation. You just press it and they go exactly where you want them to go to. And because the trough that they're standing in there is really looks like it's 1 block deep to the creepers, because they got the trap doors in there, when they follow you over, they drop right in. They readily fall right into this thing. And you can see how you can knock them out. They go over here, of course. The water pushes them right over here. And we're just throwing them out of the world right there. But, of course, in the other one, we were putting them right down into that little obsidian chamber. You can put them wherever you want to use your charged creepers. Now, these cobblestone walls on the end are rather useful. They're kind of decorative, but they're also really useful. Because when the creepers follow you over and they come inside that and you run around the other side, it makes it so that they're less likely to run around the trough, and you can kind of fill up the entire thing. Now, I also recommend that you line it out with a differentiating block here, the way I put the cobblestone down and differentiate it from the grass. And make sure that you line it out 2 blocks outside the trough. And that just makes it so that you can see where you can walk around here and not have any of the creepers that are inside here detonate, because you'll be if I stand on the grass out there, I'm always going to be more than 2 blocks away from any of the creepers that are in the trough.
Looks like we've got a little graphics glitch going on here in my little creative demo world here. We didn't have this in my survival world. Those pistons are showing like they've got duplicate faces on them. Well, at least they're actuating correctly, so you can see how this whole thing works. So you can just line them all up in there and hit them with your trident of channeling, and you'll have all kinds of charged creepers ready to go in your survival world. Now, I think just for fun, I'm going to run back to my survival world and just show you how that little zombie head farm can be turned into a really nice little XP generator. I'll be right back. Oh, welcome back to my survival world. And we're going to try to gather up some XP here. I've been off working on a build quite a long way away from here. I found another nether farm, and I flew back with my elytra here, so it's got mending on it, so I want to repair this elytra. And I also burned up one of my best picks here. So we're going to use the XP to repair the pick and the elytra. Yeah, I was working, actually using this same system for collecting up charged creepers to make a wither skull farm. That's really, really incredibly easy. It's actually easier than doing this thing. Okay, so we're just going to throw in the TNT right here, and we'll touch it off. And I'm going to hop out of the water so you can see all the XP kind of come flowing out of here. Now, one of the problems with these trapdoors is that some of the XP will go right down into the lava that's down there. But it's just a way to make it so I don't have to battle with these guys. I only got one of them coming out here. All right, so he just drops in there. Okay, now we'll go over and we'll repair up our pick, and we'll repair up our elytra, collect up a whole bunch of this XP. You know, I had that water source block there from my original design, but I don't really use it that much. I usually just stand in there and touch off the creepers or touch off the TNT. But I don't do it as much because those little tiny zombies, they come running out at you because, you know, they're riding, you know, those are the jockeys that are riding up on top of the too high block zombies. And they don't get detonated because they're right behind that the block of obsidian that keeps those guys from coming out of there. So I think I might just take that water source block out. I don't know. Let me think about it for a little while. I'll go chuck this half slab back in here. And then I'm going to cruise over to this little area on the side over here. I put this in. It's almost an automatic system for collecting up all the resources needed to brew splash potions of healing. Now you can see that we fully repaired that elytra. Boy, that thing was almost burned out too. Anyway, behind me off my right shoulder to your left is actually behind the wall is a fully automatic farm for growing the melons. And then we've got the gold coming out of that smelter that we were talking about earlier. I used to run over here because some of the small guys would fall right between the heads, but not all of them do. So anyway, that's my way of brewing up potions and things like that. And I threw an enchanting room in here so I can, I've basically been enchanting books because I'm getting so much XP. A lot of the build that I did here, I did while I was just waiting for the next thunderstorm. I've only had 2 thunderstorms occur in Minecraft since I started this little build right here. So I just kind of messed around using up the heads, putting them in the floor, decorating things out, and making all these little things so that we could find some more charged creepers. So this is actually the guts of this thing. This is my little storage and crafting area. I usually build these right around the spawner. The spawner is just off to the left here. I'm going to go up on top of that and I'll show you where that is. So I usually build rooms like this around the spawner so that we collect up all kinds of XP and drops and everything while we're building it out. So the spawner is directly underneath this block right here that we're standing on. I put redstone lamps in here so that, and I hooked up to a switch that's down in that little storage and crafting room so I can turn the spawner off if we have to. I brought the zombies over, stuck them on top of the soul sand, brought them up a water channel, and then they cruise across these magma blocks here, taking enough damage to bring them down to approximately a one-hit kill before I drop them into where the obsidian is. And you can see them taking damage here as they cruise across this thing, and then they drop down. Now sometimes when I come in and out of this junk or in and out of the area, some of the zombies will hang up in the water stream, you know, down right on top of the soul sand or right next to it, and they'll actually stay there long enough to turn into drowns. And so sometimes you can get, like we saw earlier, we'll get nautilus shells or tridents and gold and a few other drops out of this thing that you would normally get from drowns. You know, certainly not as much as we get from the drown farm. All right, well, I think it's time that we put a wrap on this video. I think I'm going to go AFK for a little while, collect, and when I come back, I'll just level up to over 30 XP and then head out and work on the Wither Skull farm. This is Wes, and I'm signing out.